for joining us for our Chamber Connection podcast. Thanks to our friends at Speakeasy, we are here for the next 52 weeks, bringing you guests from around our community, elected officials, business owners, folks doing great work here in Macomb County. So sit back, take a listen, and we hope you'll join us every week for our Chamber Connection. Thanks for joining me on this edition of our Chamber Connection podcast. We are really excited. I get to be here with friends of mine this morning. I think I say that every week, but truly this time I am here with some really good friends of mine to talk a little bit about, their business, a great attraction in Sterling Heights. Wassem Amer, Amir Patel, Wes, and Andy from Urban Air in Sterling Heights. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us, Stacy.
Thank you for having us.
So I need to point out, Andy is one of our newest board members to the Sterling Heights Chamber Board of Directors. We're happy to have you. You guys are so involved. Tell us a little bit about Urban Air. I know. How can you punch all of that? What do you guys do there in just a few seconds?
It's hard to even like put a gauge on where we're gonna start our journey, but we'll take it to ground zero and kind of build on our story from ground zero. In 2017, I was invited to go visit my sister who lives in the great state of Indiana, and our kids are always up to the next challenge, and they always want an activity that's different than what they've done yesterday.
Sure. So, and you're gonna find it for them.
And we're gonna try to find it for them. So the kids got together, and they said, "Well, we wanna get out of town, but we don't want to go too far." So there is a little town by the name of Franklin, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. We drove to Franklin, Indiana, to a destination called Urban Air in Franklin. And what I noticed is as soon as I got into that park, it's a little bit different than some of the family entertainment centers that we've seen emerge over the years. What we've seen is the standard concept of basic trampolines, and my kids have been in many of those parks here in Michigan, and the experience only lasts about 45 minutes to an hour, and they're already ready to leave. I looked at my watch, and we were already 3 hours into this park. And my kids have not came to me and said, "You know what? We're bored. We want to do something else." So I did not take that lightly. I actually kept it in mind. And then when I came back to Michigan, I said, this concept would be a great concept to have in Michigan. We have nothing like it. What we have is we have the basic trampoline parks, and we have the outdoor parks. But there's really nothing in between that's going to provide any type of motorized attractions or any type of gravity attractions outside of basic trampolines. A light bulb went off.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, well, this is something that has merit and has value. So let me go ahead and pursue this opportunity a little bit further. But I need a partner in crime because I can't do it by myself.
And you found one.
And the best partner in crime to do it with is my best friend. So I called my best friend and I told him, listen, dude, I've seen this amazing concept in Indianapolis or in Franklin, Indiana. We should bring that concept here to Michigan. Why don't we make contact with the franchisee? It's a franchise. That franchise is all over the country. Let's make contact with this franchisee or the franchisor, and let's go down to Texas and talk to them.
And Wes, you jumped in right away and said absolutely.
No. His story leaves out one tidbit. We were working out, and he brings this up to me as I'm lifting, and I'm like, man, what are we talking about right now? But nonetheless, the way he was very enthusiastic about it, so I had to pursue it because he's never really that enthusiastic about something unless it's something that he absolutely loves, and I know that about him, knowing him 20 years. So we wanted to experience what he experienced. We got the kids in the car. We drove
road trip.
We road trip to Pennsylvania. There's a city called Cranberry Township just outside of Pittsburgh. They just had a grand opening of a state-of-the-art urban air park. His family, my family, we walk in, and I'm looking around at this place, and it's like, whoa, what did I just come to? Similar story to what he had in Franklin. My kids, for 3 hours, had an amazing time. We were fortunate that day where the owner of that park was there. He was just a great guy. Shout out to John Wombold. Hopefully he gets to listen to this podcast and know that he got us to where we are today. He gave us some great information and really encouraged us to pursue this. And I'll never forget, I said to him, John, what are your outlook? What's your outlook? What are you going to do with this? He said, I'm going to build these until my money runs out. And when that guy said that, I was like, is this guy crazy? But now knowing, what I know, I understand why he brought that up.
So tell us what makes Urban Air different than what you see in other indoor amusement attractions around the area.
The main differentiation between Urban Air and our competition that's in the area is the selection of attractions that we have. It is the guest experience that we provide when a guest walks in from the door. As soon as the guest walks into Urban Air, there is a greeter that's at the front desk. They are going to greet that guest. They're going to understand if that guest is there for a special event, a birthday party, or they're just on a day pass. And they are going to direct them based on the experience that they're looking for on that day. And then when you walk into our park, you are looking at a scene that's very different than what you see in other indoor amusement parks or indoor family venues. We have what we call layered attractions. So if you look at floor level, we have attractions. If you look up in the ceilings, we have attractions. So anywhere where you look around the park, there is something to see and there's a different activity to do. The video game enthusiasts, we have a full arcade zone that's full and packed with virtual reality attractions. For the virtual reality folks that want a fully immersed virtual reality, we have a virtual reality arena. For those that want to be adventurous and want to ride an indoor zip line, well, we have an indoor zip line that will take you around and sweep you around the entire park. Let's get motorized right now. If they want to go on something that's more motorized, we have a spin zone, flip zone arena where kids get to enjoy, and adults get to enjoy spinning around or flipping around in a glorified bumper car.
When you guys did your grand opening in 2019, the chamber board got in all of those bumper cars.
I remember that.
And I was so nervous that someone was going to break a hip.
Yeah.
But they had so much. They couldn't wait to get in to do those.
And that, to answer your question, from my perspective, we're a venue. That's what Urban Air is. Urban Air is a venue. It's not a family entertainment center. It's not a park for kids. It's a venue. It's a venue where families can have a good time. It's a venue where the chamber members who came out that day can have a good time. Last week we had Chase Bank bring out their private bankers and some of their regional bankers, adults only, and they had an awesome time. So this is what I think Urban Air has become.
Because everybody wants to be a kid again at some point.
Absolutely, and everyone should never stop being a kid.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in that. I hope
really
I'm a
good
kid until the day I die, because being a kid means you're having fun. Being an adult is great because you get to build on what you learned as a kid, but being a kid gives you the ability to have fun, and that's what I believe that Urban Air is as a brand, and that's what I believe Urban Air in Sterling Heights is, and that's what we're going to create when we bring Urban Air Commerce, is the ability for you as an adult to be a kid, and to also allow your children to be a kid in front of your own eyes and for you to play with them. So a venue is what I believe Urban Air has become.
And you just added a brand new piece to your venue a couple weeks ago, didn't you?
We did. Vroom, vroom. We added a go-kart track that we have been working on since the day we opened our doors.
I remember that.
In October of 2019. We've always had this thought. We've always had this vision. But we had this wall, this makeshift wall that we could not bring down until we were ready to do so. And everyone knows what took place in 2020. Unfortunate. But thankfully, we're sitting here in 2022 discussing with you how cool this go-kart track is.
So you took over an old big box store, an old Babies R Us, which FYI, I did not know a Babies R Us was that big that you guys could put what the attractions you had in the front of your house and then a go-kart track in the back. I had no idea.
6 months before we took over, I was shopping at that Babies R Us because I had just had a baby. So for me to walk in and have to demolish it and to turn it into what it is was
it's a little heartbreaking.
No different than what your thoughts are.
And I am the same way. My very firstborn daughter was born in 2013. So I had the opportunity to shop at that Babies R Us prior to her being born and all the way through until we actually heard that Babies R Us was going to close down and there's an opportunity in Sterling Heights to open up Urban Air. And I want to kind of touch base a little bit on the history of how we ended up in Sterling Heights.
Yes.
We were, and this
And
is.
we're glad that you picked Sterling
Yeah,
Heights
we
to
are
be your
too.
home.
We didn't pick Sterling
Yeah,
Heights.
Sterling
It
Heights
happened. It happened by
Naturally.
coincidence, and I think Sterling Heights picked us.
Everything happens for a reason, my friends,
does.
and we're glad that you're here.
It
So how did you
absolutely
end up here?
I'll tell you. So we incorporated our legal entity in December of 2017, and our
Okay.
legal entity was called Urban Air Roseville LLC. And the
Oh,
reason
you
for
were
that
going
is we
farther
had a
east.
park that was supposed to go in Roseville, Michigan. However, the landlord of Roseville, Michigan did not believe in us individually, did not believe in our concept, and when we were sitting down at his office negotiating a lease in his space that was closed down by a former Staples, he thought, and he was actually lecturing us, that urban air is not a concept that we should take on. It is not a risk that we should take on. And our life without urban air will be just fine without opening up urban air whatsoever.
I hope you've called him recently.
This is a real conversation, by
And
the
this
way.
is
He's
a real
not fabricating
conversation.
this.
I had somebody that was
Did
sitting
you invite
across.
this landlord to the park yet?
Yeah.
We
Tom
have-
Goldberg, I hope you're listening.
So,
Does he get a glorified gold star invitation to come in?
So we got back to our realtors and we said, there's no way a deal is going to happen at this Roseville, Michigan park. It's just not going to happen. The landlord doesn't believe in the vision. The landlord doesn't want the product in their shopping center. And honestly,
We don't wanna
it's
be there
their
either.
loss and our gain.
Yes.
So Babies R Us at the same time was going out of business nationally. And this particular space on Hall Road and the Van Dyke Expressway, so-called M53, was offered to us. Him and I looked at each other. We're like, it is already in our protected area because we have a protected area
Okay.
based on zip code. We didn't have to modify our protected area based on our franchise agreement. And it's 5 minutes away from his house.
It was 5 minutes away from yours, too.
It was 5 minutes away from my house. So it just made perfect sense for us not only to be in Sterling Heights, but to also have our eyes on our business because of the proximity of where we live from this particular park. And
sometimes that makes all the difference in a successful business is when those your owner operators are involved. As you train new staff, which you guys have done, the last couple of years, but having hands-on really helps make that difference.
Absolutely. And I mean, hard work is kind of how everything comes together in any business, in my opinion. For us, two immigrants, that came from the Middle East into a country that we didn't know the language of. And for us to be able to build this in our own community. I shared this at our ribbon cutting in 2019, and I think I started crying because I lived 3 miles south of this park, right? And in my wildest dreams, I would not have thought I would be able to own something like this in my own community. And for us, being in our community has also helped, has helped us be able to have eyes on it. But our patrons, our guests, are friends of ours who are coming to support us, and that in itself is very special because when I walk through the park on a Saturday, I'm seeing people that I've known since high school, and sometimes people that I've known since elementary school, and they're there with their children, and it kind of comes around full circle that I'm able to now give them that experience, and they're there to support us.
So do you realize that, unintentionally you're building community?
I experienced building community hands-on yesterday, in fact. I was at the park in the afternoon during the Lions game. And
Did you have it on the TV too?
When we broadcast any type of sports event that is mainstream at the park, we have it on every TV in the park.
That's smart.
And we have over 30 TVs in the park. So anywhere you are in the park, standing or sitting, you are going to be watching the main event sport of that day. And the Lions happened to be playing yesterday afternoon, and they were doing very well. They were ahead in their game. And I noticed that as a community, all of our guests have came together cheering for the Lions. There was in fact a table that's sitting to another table that knew nothing about each other, but because they had the common denominator of cheering for the Lions, they were able to connect, they were able to speak to each other, and they were able to become friends. I would love to see that friendship that we've created in our park transition into a friendship that's outside of our park.
Absolutely.
But to Wes's point, our vision moving into the upcoming years of owning and operating an urban air adventure park, it's to ensure that this park is a venue for our community. Our community can come to urban air, congregate, have a social interaction among each other, and build new friends within the business that we have in our community.
And I think you hear this from all of us over the last couple of years. That's something we've all missed, right? Like, post pandemic, we missed being together, right? You missed that community, and people are looking for ways. And I think you guys are just in that perfect avenue, in that perfect place to kind of be that conduit.
And we're happy to be that perfect place, And I'm going to piggyback one thing off what he said. 3 weeks ago, the Michigan Wolverines, Go Blue, were playing Illinois, and there was 9 seconds left in the game. They were down by 1 or 2, I forget the exact, and they were about to kick a field goal. I was in the park. I looked around, and almost every single human being in the park was looking at a TV.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as the field goal went in, the park erupted. And it was one of the greatest moments of my life because I'm watching people in my own business celebrate the success of a school and of a team that I love too. So seeing that and seeing people high five each other, and again, it was happening in our space, was just really euphoric, and I have vivid memories of it.
So very interesting. I was at Hamilton during the Michigan-Ohio State game, and they extended intermission until till the game ended, and the place erupted too. Like, it was also very strange. Like, I have no allegiance to Michigan or Michigan State, so it's like it's not my thing to watch, but like, watching this, I said I've never been a part of like a community celebration like that where everyone got really excited. It was pretty cool.
Dayton's football team is not that good.
Dayton's basketball team, though. Let's start. We'll talk that. Talk to me in March, my friend.
But I'll tell you, what is sports entertainment without food?
Exactly.
So
we like to bring food into this podcast as much as we can.
No doubt about that. And I think that we have some of the best foods for a family entertainment center, and for even some of any food provider that's in the area that's within our space. Our cafe food rocks. If you haven't tried our pizza at Urban Air,
it's awesome. If you
haven't tried our chicken wings at Urban Air, or our chicken tenders,
heard there's cheese
or
fries,
our funnel fries, or our
loaded waffle fries,
or our loaded waffle fries with our new cheese that we just recently brought into the park.
So we're talking a lot of healthy food at Urban Air.
So much nutrition here.
It is
nutritional content.
It is absolutely phenomenal. And what is nice about our kitchen cafe manager, Ed, he puts a Detroit spin on our food. So you would get those just sizzling flavor that when you bite through a pizza slice, you're experiencing the butter, you're experiencing the tomato sauce. It's just amazing. Me personally, I take
Who's hungry now?
Me personally, I take a pie of pizza on a weekly basis to deliver to my parents and to deliver to my kids, because Urban Air Pizza is something that we keep at our fridge at all times.
So I think, I am not a person with kids, but I'm a good aunt. And so, I think when you talk about having something for everybody, what are some options for people? I know there's plenty of ways people can come to Urban Air. You talked about day passes, but you've got a lot of other options for folks too, don't you?
We do. Our options are endless, honestly. I mean, the day passes are
hey, it's raining. You need to burn off some energy.
Easy.
You're the place to go.
No planning needed. Our best option, our best value is our membership. Right now, our platinum membership is $19.99 a month per guest. They can come every single day if they wanted to.
And they get the pizza.
And they get a slice of pizza every single time, and they get a popcorn every single time. But forget about what they get. It's for $20, they can come into our space and play as much as they want every single day for $20 a month. And I think that's an amazing deal.
Because right now it's cold outside.
It is.
You need, I know I need to burn off energy, but kids need to burn off energy. You're a great place to do that. You extend your hours during snow days and stuff like that. You're smart guys.
Absolutely. And then the second thing is parties.
Yes.
More specifically, birthday parties. There are weekends where we host 100 birthday parties. So that is a really, really cool part of our business.
FYI, I will take any leftover cake from those birthday parties, so you can just drop it off at my office.
Hey, leftover cake is always good. And some of these birthday parties have some amazing cake. I see it in our fridge, and I'm like, wow, who made this cake? And then
your corporate events, like bringing in business professionals.
Corporate events is a big deal. Private park rentals is something that we've done, where people will take our entire park and make it their own for whatever amount of time that they'd like. So there are many different ways for you to enjoy our park. And anything else that you have in mind?
I want to touch base on the parent experience. So whether you are a member or whether you're on a day pass and you want to come in and you want to enjoy some quality time with your kids, we also have a parent pass plan that you can add to a membership, or you can actually buy along with the day pass that you would buy for your kid. In my opinion, use urban air as a bonding tool with your children.
Yeah.
Come into the park, even if it's snowing outside or it's raining outside. Do not sit at home and sit on your couch, because that experience is not going to provide memories with your children. You want to build on memories with your children, and urban air can help you do that. You come in with a parent pass and you enjoy every experience that we have alongside with your kid, including our tandem go-karts. So we have a total of 21 go-karts at our park. 14 of them are individual go-karts, but we have 7 of them that are tandem go-karts. So 2 people can sit in that go-kart. You could ride along with your child. If your child does not meet the minimum height requirement to drive a go-kart by themselves and they want the go-kart experience, put them in the passenger seat.
Oh, very cool.
Put on some socks, urban air socks, and our holiday socks absolutely rock.
Oh, I need another theme for socks. I like it.
There you go. And
My kids live in these socks, by the way.
and
Do they have
drive.
sticky bottoms?
They have sticky bottoms.
So we'll touch base on the sticky bottom socks and their benefit at your own home. because
Speak from experience?
because my kids tend to run around a lot at the house.
My wife wears them too.
And we do not have any carpet on our stairs, and we have wooden stairs, so they are slippery.
They can fall down real easily.
Our grip socks will definitely help by them running around the house to make sure that they are safe. So, and they're cool. They're super cool, especially with PJs.
I just one thing I want to touch on what he said. If your child is not tall enough to ride the go-karts by themselves, tandem karts are awesome. But my child was timid to drive on her own, even though she's tall enough. So getting in with me or her mom and then taking on a tandem cart gave her the confidence to then come back and say, you know what, Dad, I'm ready to do this on my own. So being with your child not only creates a great experience, to his point, but also builds their confidence to see that, hey, this is not so bad. You know, we have a ropes course that is elevated, and it looks a lot more, tough than it is. So you get up there, you hold your kid's hand, you let them kind of get through the first obstacle, and then they gain that confidence to say, you know what, I can do this on my own now. I don't need mom and dad. Because at the end of the day, what's our goal with our children? To build their confidence to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So you buying a parent pass gives you the ability to play with your child and create memories, but also gives you the ability to build their confidence, to show them that, hey, I'm able to do this with you, and now I'm going to show you how to do it on your own.
When you visited your sister 3-4 years ago, did you think that this was going to come out of this?
Absolutely not.
You expected some good food and some bonding time with your family.
Absolutely not. And I'm a firm believer that a marathon starts with the first step. And it is important that everybody thinks outside of the box and takes that first step outside of their comfort zone in order for them to be on the path to complete a marathon. In 2017, we did not think that we are going to own an indoor adventure park.
And coming up on what, 2 more?
Coming up on one more, which is currently under construction. We wanted to take the concept that we believe and we absolutely love here in Sterling Heights and bring it to the west side of town.
Like it.
It is strategically positioned about 40 minutes away from our park, because 40 minutes is a long commute for somebody that's coming from the west side of Metro Detroit to enjoy our experience. Rather than making a guest drive for 40 minutes to come and visit our Sterling Heights Park, we decided to bring the experience over to them, and we're going to come to the neighborhood. I have made a commitment a few weeks ago on a video that I actually posted on Facebook that I will commit for the Commerce Township Park to be open no later than October or November of 2023. And I'm going to hold that commitment. We are
You've
coming.
now said it again. We've recorded
and I'm setting
it
again, recorded on our live podcast, that commitment will be held, and we will be open for business October or November in Commerce
2023.
Township on the corner of Commerce Road and Union Lake Road. So stay tuned, West Siders. We're coming.
In the Old Hillers, former Kroger, next to Kickstand Brewery. You heard it here first from us.
So, my other favorite part about both of you is that you did not just open a business. You opened a business, but chose to be involved in your community too. So both of you are you're involved with the Chaldean Chamber Board. You're going to join the Sterling Heights Chamber Board. You're incredibly generous too when it comes to nonprofits throughout our community. There's not an auction I go to anymore that doesn't have, 4 passes to urban air. You've really decided to be a part of the community your business is in. That's important to you.
It is 100% important. I touched on that earlier. It's the community made urban air, right? The community comes and enjoys the park. The community gives us motivation to get up every morning and on Mondays have staff meetings with our staff, to be present at those staff meetings, to tell them what we'd like and what their feedback is. The community is everything. Without the community, we would be nothing. So, number one, I thank the community. But number two, being involved in the community is such an important thing, because the community is giving back to the community is important, because again, I was once an immigrant and so was he,
Yeah.
and I was part of that community that needed to be given back to. So I'm happy to be able to do it, and I would say he would say the same.
And what is the point of success without philanthropy? It is extremely important to take your success and to give back within your community. Because if you give back within your community, you're making a difference. You're making a difference for some of the folks that you may not have a personal touch to, but you're partnering up with organizations that really have a system in place that's helping these folks out. So you are indirectly being part of the mapping of their future and to ensure their success within the community that you're operating a business in. And that's very, very important to us, because the joy and the happiness that you get out of helping others and paving the way for somebody else to have an opportunity, the same opportunities that's been given to us. At the end of the day, somebody gave us a shot.
Absolutely.
Somebody gave us a chance and said, you know what, I'm going to give these guys a chance. And I've had that happen so many times during my career, that somebody believed in me when I was starting out and said, you know what, I want to give this person a chance.
Absolutely.
And by us giving back to our community, hopefully we can do the same thing.
You guys live by the old adage of much is given, much is expected, and ways of giving back, and you emulate that to a T. That you really do give back to our community in a lot of ways that I can't even begin to mention today. One of them is being here, and thanking you for joining us on our Chamber Connection podcast today. Guys, I'm honored that I get to call you both chamber members, but my friends at the same time. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us, Stacy. This has been awesome.
If you have not been to Urban Air, you have to check it out. We are, just excited for all the new additions. It's a gem in our community. We're grateful that you opened a couple months before the pandemic, and not only did you reopen, but you grew.
5 months and 10 days.
5 months and 10 days. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to you joining us on our next edition of the Chamber Connection.
And please make sure you visit us at Commerce Township when we first open in 2023.
Thank you, Stacy.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Chamber Connection. Be sure to check out information on the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce website, our Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We look forward to you connecting with us and tuning in next week.